Building small habits for 2026. Hello, everybody. My name is Roxanne Govari with Pemberley Realty here in San Diego, California, along with my partner, Santiago Guerin.
Hello, everyone. Building winning habits, very important. So let's get everyone to win this upcoming 2026, right?
Yes, let's do it, sir. So, why do we think that small habits make such a big impact?
I mean, habits are very. They can lead you on to do good things, and they can also lead you to slack off in things too. So there's both good and bad habits, and basically understanding those good habits and making sure they're getting taken care of could lead to a good year and good life.
You know, it's really interesting because you're pretty much half the age that I am, and I'm half the age of my parents were,
Yeah,
right? And as I'm getting as the years are passing by, and as I'm getting to work with younger clients and clients my age and work with older folks, I actually see a spectrum of where people are, and I also see where people are in terms of their their life experiences, their money experiences, and their financial place in the world and everything. And I really, really see how important it is to set up your habits correctly, because it really takes you all the way through your life. And sometimes I see some really young people that have developed the right habits at a young age, and you see how far they've gone. And sometimes you see older folks have that don't have those winning habits, and you see how where they have gotten
yeah,
to uh, almost at the very close to the end of their life,
yeah,
right? And that's why it's so important. And we think that we have to, if we do this, then we're going to be successful, and then we're going to make it, and but it's not this that actually gets you there. It's this that
yeah,
actually gets
yeah,
the accumulation of these that
yes,
get you there.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I agree with that. And I mean, for all our agents out there, um, those little things could lead to more success in business. So,
I'm thinking of two instances that I have just come across that I thought to share.
yeah,
One was I went to a closing with a one of our buyers that recently bought a place, and his mother was telling me, because this is a young person that just bought a house,
mhm,
super excited about the purchase and about getting into his home. And his mother was telling me he decided that he wanted to be a homeowner, and he decided to start saving his money, um, because this was his goal to someday own a home.
yeah,
And she said he wasn't making a whole lot of money, but he was determined, and he has been saving $10,000 per year for the past 8 years.
yeah,
And so when he got to a point where he's got $80,000, then we said, you know what? He's worked so hard. He's saved all this money. We're going to come in. We're going to help him, and basically with the rest of the money that the parents gave,
yeah.
and the $80,000 down payment that he
Okay.
had collected, he was able to get into a house.
Yeah, yeah,
And that goes to building those small habits. I mean, think of it. it's really not a small thing to do, to save for 8 years straight relentlessly the same amount of money. I mean, I really, if unless I really am determined and force myself, I don't have that discipline.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's difficult, and then you always think, oh, it's such a hard task. Like, yeah, saving $80,000. Like once you look at it from the get go, like damn, $80,000 is a lot of money. How am I can't save that. But if you think about it, it was small increments of like less than $1,000, a month saving up, and you know,
Yeah.
if you look at it that way, it's little wins that lead up to the big one.
So $10,000 a year, right? $10,000 a year. That means let's break it down to monthly, right?
Yeah,
Monthly payments. So 10,000 divided by 12, that's $833.
yeah,
And when you break it down like that, it's not that much,
yeah,
right? I'm going to give you another example because this other example was also very inspiring for me. This is actually 2 or 3 years ago now, I think. I went and visited another buyer that had bought a house from us, and and I got there, and he met me, and I went in, started walking with him, and then I'm thinking, like, this is a kid. And I so finally I basically asked him, "Hey, how old are you?" And he said, "I'm 23." And I said, "You're 23 years old?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Wow." And the house was like $650,000 house.
yeah.
And I said, "How?" And he said, "Well, I had saved about $150,000."
Oh wow.
And I was like, how did you? I mean, I'm thinking that's just not even possible. And he was like, well, you know what? I've been saving since I was 14.
Yeah,
I basically hustled my way through, and then he pointed out and he said, "You see my car that I drive?" And he said, "This was a car that my grandmother gave me." And I was not going to, like, all my friends that are my age were spending all their money in the cars and this and that, the other thing. I was determined that I want to be a homeowner,
yeah,
and and he said this, which was very interesting. He said a lot of days I would drink only water and eat only bread, because I was like, I know what I'm doing. I'm determined. I am saving my money for a down payment for a
yeah,
house.
yeah, yeah.
And
Very.
I'm like, wow, $150,000 by the age of 23,
Yeah,
and buying his first house.
yeah. Wow. Yeah, no, that's a pretty interesting story. And then, I mean, what are some tips that you can give to agents out there? What are little small tips that you could give to them to basically, you know,
Very good
build their
question.
business?
I think the most important thing about this is, for agents, is a lot of when I first got into the business, and this year it's going to be 26 years that I've been in the business. When I first got into the business, the real estate business was not so sexy. There was no videos, there was no texting, there was no glamour, there were no $1 million agent, none of that stuff was around.
Yeah,
Um, and getting into the business of sales and being a realtor was just not so sexy.
yeah,
It was mostly a second career. People would go in when they failed at something else, and so when people got in, it was like, for example, I was the perfect example, right? I was a teacher for 7 years, and then I was doing computer work for 3 years, And then I felt like my computer work was just sunsetting, and it was volatile, and I was thinking of, I need to do something else. What can I go and do? And then I came across a for sale by owner that we bought, and boom, I was like, okay, that's it. I know how to do this now. After I sold, we purchased this house from this for sale by owner, so let me just go and do this, right?
Mhm.
The whole point of it being that there's the I didn't have to go back to school and get another degree. I didn't need a whole huge capital to, become a new business owner, right? All I needed was my grit.
Yeah.
And I got into the business with determination that I was going to make it.
Yeah.
And one thing that I knew I was going to do was that I was going to call and I was going to return my calls. And I bet you anything that is what contributes to my success. Calling and returning calls and treating it like it was my own.
Yeah.
And you can attest to this, right? I'm the first one in the office and the last one to leave.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
I mean,
and
so
those are the habits and I'm not saying that those are the first habits that you need, but they definitely are one of those winning habits that make you there and make you into a success. And nowadays we see real estate has become sexy. Real estate has become more like, okay, this is the second Hollywood now. Everybody's making videos and everybody's making sexy shots and all kinds of dances as they're showing the house. And but at the end of the day, if you look at the numbers, the ones that are successful are the ones that actually are putting the work, treating this as a full-time and beyond type of job. And unless, if you're getting into the business for the glamour and the glory and the Hollywood aspect of it, it still is not going to work.
yeah. Yeah. And I think right now, especially like during this time, which I think it was probably different back then when you were barely starting. Um, I think the consistency, I mean, I know the consistency was important back then too, but today there's a lot more distractions, I feel, with,
Yeah.
like you said, the social media, the glam. Uh, there's things that can easily distract you from actually doing the real work that needs to get done. So you might be focusing yourself on things that are really not as important, because there's all this distractions and things going on that can push you away from the actual, consistency that you need to be having to make it. So,
It's interesting that you say that. Gary Keller, actually, in his book $1 Million Agent, he talks about playing green light, red light, green light.
mhm.
And Rick Ruby, the coach from the core training, which is another training vehicles in our industry. He says that make sure that you set up your calendar every day, and make sure that you print out your calendar every day, right? And set what is green time, what is red time, right? And green time is your prospecting time, reaching out to your people, reaching out to your to your sphere, reaching out to your friends, to your past clients, to your to the professional partners that you work with, and make connections and work on the relationships that you have, and strengthen your relationship. That is your green time,
Yeah.
right? If you're making a video, believe it or not, that is not green time.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that you shouldn't make the videos. Obviously, we're on video, right? We're
Yeah.
making the video, and we need to do that. It's part of our business, right?
Yeah.
But it cannot be that, okay, we're just making videos and we're not reaching out to your customer, to
Yeah.
our customers,
100%. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, again, going back to the habits, and also going back to the fact that we're at the end of the year, right? And we're all thinking of, okay, what are some of the habits that I need to make going into the new year, and how do I set myself up for success,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, and definitely checking with those. Um, I would say now that you're at the end of the year, kind of analyze the habits that you've had this year and pinpoint which ones made you a little bit more successful and which ones were basically bringing you down, so that this upcoming year you know, what you're gonna do.
This year, I think one of the biggest realizations that I've had that I really need to work on is mindset. And the mindset of strength, mindset of being a winner, and mindset of no matter what happens, I've got this, because I have the strength and the ability and the skill set to get from point A to point B. And on the other end, which we're talking about habits, it's really it's really weird. I guess we don't even think about it, but even when it comes to habits, mindset is also a habit. Like, for
Mm-hmm.
example, when you have a setback, it's really easy to say, "Oh, poor me. This doesn't happen to anybody else. It only happens to me.
Yeah.
Why did this happen to me?" And believe it or not, that is a habit as well,
Yeah.
one that you can overcome.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like also those that mindset, it you attract what you think. So, if you're thinking you're gonna be an efficient person, if you're thinking about being, on top of your task, if you're thinking you're gonna be making your phone calls, then you will do them. You will do them. And but if you're thinking like, I'm not the best agent, I'm not you know, I suck at making phone calls, then you're gonna suck at making phone calls and you're gonna suck at being an agent. So,
That's it. It's all what you feed yourself, right?
hmm,
So on that note, we're going to put it out here, right, for everybody to know, because the pressure is on. Pressure is on, but we're motivated. Yes.
yeah, hmm,
So this year we have sold, between our little team, we have sold $30 million worth of real estate. Yay!
yeah,
And our bigger team, our agents, have sold another 30 million. So we're upwards of about a little over $70 million in sales this
yeah,
year.
hmm. Very impressive.
And very impressive, but pressure is on. Next year, we're going to double that. Are you up for it?
I'm definitely down for it.
Are you up for it?
Yeah, we can do it.
We can do it. High five. So this is a commitment we make, right? Pressure is on. We're making a commitment to each other, or making a commitment to our audience, that we're going to do it. And the way that we're going to do it is by setting up the right habits,
Yeah,
right?
100%. Yeah, no.
Because just like the customer that was putting $10,000 away per year for 8 years, and it took him 8 years to put away $80,000. We have to make a deposit into our bank of success every day, in order to make it by the end of 2026, and sit here together again and say, "Yay, we have gone from 30 million to $60 million in sales."
Yeah, yeah.
You think we can do it?
I think we can definitely do it. And I mean, putting it out there, putting it in paper makes it even, uh, you know, make sure you look at it every day so that, you keep a reminding yourself and you're doing all the things that need to get done. So
I love it that you say that. Put it in front of you so that you know what your goal is, right? And that is going to make it so much easier to actually achieve the goal that you set for yourself.
yep, yep.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about routines,
Okay.
because routines are part of the habits that we build.
Hmm.
What are some of the routines that you have that you think work towards making you into a more efficient
I,
person?
I think, um, yeah, basically, kind of like you mentioned with the calendar, like having like everything set up already beforehand, like the day before is very important. Something that I like doing that I have my routine is I'll make my coffee every morning and then I'll scroll through emails while I'm drinking my coffee. So every time I'm drinking coffee, I'm thinking of emails. So it keeps me a routine going of checking emails while I'm drinking my coffee. So then, I don't fall behind. I'm up to date with everything. Also, checking text. So kind of having everything scheduled out and knowing what you do every day makes it that much more easier for you to actually do those things. Because if it's like, I'll do it when I feel like it, then you'll never feel like doing it. So,
Yeah. And it's interesting you say that, because there's a saying, and I forget whose it is, but it says, eat that frog first.
yeah.
Because I mean, if you think of frogs, I'm a big fan of Harry Potter, and I'm always thinking of when Ron was cursing Malfoy, and he started throwing snails out,
Yeah.
because he cursed Malfoy to eat snails, and he started throwing up snails, and that's what I'm thinking. But the point of the story is, go through and do that first task that's the hardest first, because then you've gotten the hardest one out of the way, and it's only going to get easier from there point and moving
Yeah.
forward,
I agree.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, what else in terms of routine that you think are important, that help you get more success?
Mm, I would say, yeah, just doing, repetitive, basically the things you've been doing.
Repetitive is really, really important, and both in life and in real estate. It's getting really good at doing at mastering repetitious boredom. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mastering
No, it does. It
repetitious
does.
boredom.
It does.
Because if you think about it, if you're drinking coffee every morning and getting through the email, after a while, it becomes boring,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? But
Hmm.
that's what gets you to success.
Yeah.
And if you just become a master at repetitious boredom,
Yeah.
then you're just repeating what is good habits that get you from point A to point B,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean, I think that, make sure that, you know, when you do miss, like, if you do miss one of those habits, make sure you don't miss it twice, because then it becomes a bad habit more than once. So
Exactly.
that's something that I kind of like. Yeah, if I didn't do like I skipped the gym or something, then the next day I need to make sure I go, because then if you miss it a second day, then you're gonna be okay with missing a third and fourth and so on. So that's something
Yeah.
always to keep in mind, in my opinion.
This is so very important, because they actually say for women, and I'm not sure about for men, it probably is very similar for men as well, but they say for women, if you are exercising on a routine basis, then you stay in good shape, and you stay active and you stay healthy and you keep going. But if you miss one day, then it's like you drop by 50%. If you miss 2 days of not exercising, is as if you never exercised.
Yeah.
And all the ailments and all the all the discomfort and everything will come back to you as if you never exercised.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I learned about that, I was like, that's so powerful because it's talking about the habits. You cannot even miss a day.
Yeah.
And after 2 days, it's like, it's over.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
That's when I started exercising every single day.
Yeah, the consistency is very important. You want to make sure you keep doing what you're doing, um, doing it as as efficient as possible, and yeah, so that you can get the best outcome out of whatever you're doing.
Absolutely. Well, there is a lot more to talk about on this subject, but we're at the end of our session.
Yeah.
So speaking of habits and speaking of consistency and repeating what matters, let's talk about the fact that our audience are the most important thing. And therefore, if you are watching us and if you're watching us on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, because
Yeah.
without you being our audience, we don't have the motivation enough to produce these videos.
Yeah.
And also we won't get any viewership, and without viewership we cannot put out our fantastic messages out. So please subscribe and give us a thumbs up and like our video so that we get more traction and more views.
Yeah.
And on that note, if you are trying to reach me, there is my phone number. If you are trying to reach my partner Santi, there's
Okay.
his phone number. And if you are on Instagram, we would love it if you give us a follow on Instagram. And if you are in San Diego, you can check us out at joinpemberley.com. And if you are an out of area agent, we would love to connect with you. So reach us either via email or via a text at either one of our phone numbers. You can also reach us at our website. And as always, we really appreciate you being our audience, and make it a great day, and happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays, everyone. See you guys on the next one.